Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for yet again a Vital tutorial. In this video I'm gonna talk about how to make some sort of a generative soundscape, not much unlike the one we are hearing right now or the one that I let go for like 40 minutes in my last video, which a lot of people seem to have appreciated. So without any further ado, let's get going. Now, this is the patch that we're hearing, and there's, as you can see, a lot of work done by the random generators to make things the way they are. I'm not gonna walk you through this patch or through the other patch I made, but I'm gonna go into explaining how you can make patches like this on your own, because they actually have a bunch of possible applications. While the most obvious application of just, you see, having this random pattern that can keep going on and on and on forever, surprising your listener or yourself, as in my case, you can do things which sound a little more organized, even though they're not. See, if you know, our brain loves patterns. We crave them, and we create them even when there are none. So you see, like a bit like watching doing a Rorschach test or looking at clouds. If you get something somehow familiar, something which seems to make sense, our brain will convince itself that it actually does. See, if you just had a fast rolling bass line and a kick to a bunch of generative patches, you're in, let's say, instant dark Psyland. And believe me, there is nothing deterministic in this except for the kick and the bass. What you're listening beyond that is this. Doesn't really seem to have a clock, but if you just get the kick and the bass rolling, it will work. I don't know how many artists actually make their tracks like this. I mean, I suspect it's more than a few. And, I don't know, I'm not blaming them for this, but that's definitely something to consider. Even though, even just, you know, as not an entire basis for your patch, for your whole track, but, you know, as something in the surroundings, you know, something to create some atmosphere, some unpredictability, some other texture which can somehow enrich your whole, you know, the whole sonic experience of your listeners. Now, before I get going with the actual tutorial, I have to ask you a favor. Since you're here, you're watching this video, I have to thank you for all the support. My channel is growing very fast in the last weeks, and I would really like it to keep it that way. So if you think my work has any value, please like, subscribe, share it, talk about my stuff to all your other synth geek friends. You know, don't keep me your own dirty little secret only you know about. Thank you. So, how do we make a sequence like this in Vital? Well, I suppose there are a bunch of possibilities. I'm just gonna explore a few of them. First of all, let me point out that the default somehow way you would make a patch like this here is not available. Because, you know, if you think at the 1956 movie The Forbidden Planet, that thing that generated the whole thing, the myth of the Krell patch, was done with a system which allowed some random triggering of the envelopes. And that's the way you can find in a bunch of videos explaining how to make the Krell patch. Everyone will tell you that there is a way of making, you know, an end of cycle function that triggers the envelopes, which have some random parameters, and then, you know, so that you get different things happening every time. And here we can't do that because the envelopes are linked to the node on message, and there's no way to have them being triggered by something else. But we can get around this. How? Well, we have a bunch of LFOs, we have 4 random generators, and we also happen to have the most powerful feature of Vital, which is the mod renapping. So before getting into making the sound, let's start from the bottom. So I'll put some reverb and some delay. Why? Because I wouldn't say it is impossible to make a believable patch like this without drenching it in reverb, but drenching it in reverb definitely helps. If you get it, as someone says, repetition legitimizes, and delay and reverb are somehow repetition by definition. And that allows us to have a more give our whole sound the sensation of being somewhere, and our ear will be more inclined to listen to it and not just think it's this unnatural disturbance in the force. So one way would be to have a random generator controlling the amount of volume modulation, because like now I'll get this volume to 0 and I'll get an LFO to control it. Now this, of course, will just keep happening and repeating itself equal to again and again. But if I want it to be different, say, I could say and control the amount of this modulation with a random generator. This is one way to do that. Another way, which is the one I used in that video, is to freeze this LFO. But then get a random generator. Let's make it synced. Oh, by the way, here I'm making something which will be clock dependent. I mean, it will be synced in a way or another, so that this will mean it means it will have if it will have somehow a connection to a clock. You can easily do the same thing without having a clock, putting everything in free run in seconds and then having all a bunch of different time divisions. It's really up to you. I mean, I won't. It's just for the purpose that the process is basically identical. So now we have this being changed, but we will have it change not all the time. Say here we have this random controlling our tempo, and we will get it to behave differently. So that, say, it will get it to be a lot faster, because now it's frozen, or even a lot faster, but not this much faster, because I believe if we get, well, actually, yeah, can get up to here, which will be somewhere around 30 seconds or something like that. And I'll do something similar here, so that it does also happen to be at some lower level somewhere, and let's put something here. Now, this is stable, this random generator. I could make it irregular as well. So I can make it so that random 2 controls random 1 and controls the amount of this modulation. I'll make this bipolar, and I'll make this 2 stereo. Not that it makes a big difference, but yeah, I'm fine with it being in Berlin. But now we have the thing that this LFO, actually it gets a little bit too fast. Let's get it fast, but not that fast. Now we have this LFO1, which is, just a simple ramp. So we're going to make this into some sort of a pattern, which basically will not repeat itself. So I'll go for down and have this, this kind of plucky thing, another kind of plucky thing, another kind of plucky thing. All right, and let's go the other way, and let's go for up somewhere, so that it has somewhere it rises and disappears, and let's make it to a different scale. Let's go 16 and make another one here, not 2, just 1, or actually 2, 1 next to the other with different curvatures. And let's make just it still gets a little too fast. Better. At least I'm kind of happier with this. Now, this is just a saw wave, which isn't very nice, so I'll get some unison to it and turn it into something else. Here comes, the most, I would say, interesting part of it, because, you just get to something that has the content you wanted to have, and then maybe we can get another LFO to control what is happening here. And maybe I can even get to have a random generator controlling the phase of this. We have a lot of different possible behaviors from it, right? Already. And then now we could also add some modulations, some changes from these menus in one way or another. Maybe static or dynamic, whatever. But up to now, we're just listening to one note. It's always the same D I'm playing. Actually, let's get it to a C and just put something on a key so that it keeps playing. Yeah, I'm using an old synth as a controller and it doesn't have a hold function. So I just use a weight on a key. Ancient techniques work the best. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have a way of changing the pitch. If I'm lazy, or if I want to do, say a single layer generative patch, I could be modulating the general transpose of the patch. But here I'm going to go one single oscillator at a time. So I'm gonna get this one, which is in sample and hold, make it slower again, and then again it will be modulated, and I'm gonna automate the pitch. I could, let's change it to 24, right, 24 up. And now I could leave it like this, and then it will be, in a bunch of possible positions. I could, to keep it in a scale, just use this pitch quantization settings. Or I could go here in my mod remapping controlling the transpose and put a scale into it. Now I have made a bunch of these for practical reasons. Let's say I have this minor scale 2415. And now we have this thing moving around on a minor scale. And since it's doing it, we might want it also to be in some different way. So let's go for octave plus seventh. Creates this sense of a chord. Let's get it lower. Let's go like 1 octave lower, just since that was where it started. So, another thing you might like isn't getting a saw wave like this, is using one stock wavetable, which I find very, very interesting. I mean, it's nothing that surprising, really. It's this harmonic series. Harmonic series contains just sine waves, just different bunches of sine waves. So basically, it's an harmonic series. So what do I do with this harmonic series thing? Well, it's great as an FM carrier, but also if I get if I give it some unison and the table spread is set right, I can get a lot of weird chords with a harmonic chord just out of this, even without setting it to make chords. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna get, I could get an LFO, or I could straight ahead take a random generator to be controlling the table spread of this one, and let's make it bipolar. Or actually, no, let's make it, let's leave it unipolar, because as a matter of fact, it's starting from the bottom, and I'm not moving it in any way. And then, since I said it was a very good possible FM carrier, I'll make it an FM carrier also. Now, you sure haven't noticed this is 0 volume, so it's never gonna be doing anything. Now, I'm gonna make it do something. And make a pattern, which is possibly, let's say, see here we have this pattern done like this. I'm using the same LFO so that I want it to, happen in different moments rather than that one. So now we have this one, and we have this chord happening by itself, but we have no modulation on the pitch. Let's get some modulation on the pitch of this one too. So this was random 3. Let's use random 1 for this one. Let's make it bipolar and make it again into a minor scale. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I want. And now, I was mentioning the idea of doing some FM. Why not? So I get this. Now this is a bit crazy, isn't it, right? Because this, what we're seeing, is a saw wave modulating, a low-pitch saw wave modulating it. You might like it. I really am not a fan of this, so I'm gonna turn it into something else. I'm gonna go for a simple sine wave. But it will have, you know, does have a strange ratio, right? So why not getting it to be controlled in a way that this too has some strange behavior. And then again, this one too, we're gonna put it on a scale. Again, the same scale as before. Where is it? Oh, here. I'm looking on the factory one, not on mine. Now we have this, but it's always happening, right? And we don't want it to happen all the time. We want it to happen just once in a while. So we get this one, which is Berlin. Let's get this fourth one, or no, let's get an LFO to control it. We have this LFO 4, which is set like this. We're going to turn it into something else. We're going to make it quite unsmooth. And now I'm going to put, you know, again, some weird things on it. I'm still not using random 4. I could use it for something. I don't know. I could change this. And then make this bipolar. And we're definitely getting into this land of crazy flip-flops, as we were expecting to. Now, can we do more? Yes, of course we can. One thing which I find very interesting to do on these things is adding, you know, something which would have an actual time scanning. So, you know, some speech, for example, or a loop of something else. Let's say, for example, here I have a beat made on an agogo. Let's go for this one or this one. Let's go this thing here. And so I can get an LFO to play it. Let's go an LFO, which is, I would say, let's get this one, which is not really reasonable, but less unreasonable than others. So we have this thing, which is happening on 2 different. Or we could go, let's do something which is from the 1.5 update. Now it seems like it's a constant cowbell or something like that. But we can now say get again, this LFO1 or LFO2, which is radically different, to be controlling its volume. In ways I like. So like, again, but now we see this LFO is very, very stable. It just keeps going and moves and will repeat again and again. It always has the same speed. We can change this, right? So let's get this random 4, which is another sample and hold, and have it do this. And then, because I mean we're not done yet, right? Are we? So we can have this always keeps going, but it does this. It's a lot more, you see, a lot more sparse. I mean, this actually it makes it a little less sparse than it was, but it gives a sensation of somehow constant motion. We could get something else happening. Say, for example, we could like the idea of using again this LFO3 we had, which I didn't put it so that it was around. This is way better. Let's get this LFO3 again to say control the pitch and do some actual FM. Now I'm gonna remap it to be sort of some linear FM. But then we're gonna make it happen just, you know, once in a while. Let's get this sample and hold. This is stationary. Let's get one which isn't stationary. Did I make anyone not stationary? Well, let's get random 2 not too stationary as well. Let's get it. This is random 2 and it is already non-stationary, but let's make it slower. Random 4 is in quarters. Let's get it slower, but let it get modulated by this one. And now I can have random 4 modulating our amount of not LFO, yes, the amount of FM. And here it is. So now this modulation 18 and we already have something quite interesting, don't we? Now, we might want at times to have what I would call, let's say, rare events. Say, you know, something crazy such as a wild sync motion, massive increase in delay and reverb. And how do we do this? Well, it's not that hard. Let's say, for example, we just need to get, you know, like a random generator and use it again as trigger for that. So let's say, for example, we like the idea of quantizing this, quantizing this oscillator, which creates quite an effect, right? So, but we keep it low all the time, and then we get, say, a random generator. Let's go for this 4, which I like, to control this. Up to here, not too much because it gets horrible. And then we get here, there is this thing, right? But here it's happening, well, all the time. So let's say it happens again only when that random generator is at this very high values. Okay, cool, right? Now I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna use it, say at the same time. Was it random 4? Yes, it was a random 4. I'm gonna use random 4 again to modulate, say, the delay feedback. And at the same time, since I like this, also the mix a little less. So now, when this gets here, we will get this thing becoming all of a sudden a lot bigger. And we can make it happen also for our reverb. These are not so rare, these events. I wanted them to be rarer, but I couldn't. I made it just like this. And so, well, this we have. It's a sort of a minor sounding sequence of odd sounds, whistling birds and whatever. I mean, it has its own thing. And I don't know what is gonna happen next. I mean, this is surprising me a little less than the one I had made earlier, but that took me a little more time. I worked on it a little more. So this too I'm gonna put on that thread on the Vital forum for you to download, and I hope you like it, and I hope you learned something from this video. So thank you for staying with me this long. This did take some time. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I did my mandatory self-promotion already, but I gotta tell you, in the description down here, there's my link tree, and there you can find lots of patches for Vital, and soon you will find these patches too. I mean, not like this, because these are already in that thread and Vital, but you know, patches of this kind I'm definitely gonna make a pack of for those who are interested. But before for that to happen, I have to wait for Matt Titel to release the 1.5 for everyone, and so I hope that this happens soon. This all said, thank you very much for your attention, and see you soon. Bye.